Hello, it is so nice to see you guys here. Thank you so much. I'm Victoria, the minimalist. In case you don't know what that is, it's a Mennonite and a minimalist put together. I was tagged by BookBuds. They created this tag. It's the Christmas colors tag. I loved this. This was really cute. I'm about to do a workout, and beforehand I thought I had time to answer these questions. The first is a book with a red cover. This was easy for me. Dinner for Vampires. I went to high school with Joy Lenz, Bethany Joy Lenz as she is known, but she was Joy Lenz in high school. She was a senior, I was a freshman, but we did interact because her best friend and my best friend were sisters. This book talks about how she was in a cult, something that was a spiritual type of thing. So I went to a Christian school with her, and so it was very much our environment. So she tells her story about how she got into acting and how that tied her into a cult. And it's a very sad story, actually. And I had no idea until I read her book. Now, if you don't know who she is, she was in One Tree Hill. She's been in Hallmark movies. So she is someone that isn't like extremely well known, but she was in a big TV show. It is a very good book. I was sucked into it. But because I knew her, it was very interesting to learn her experiences and to get inside of her head. And it's funny because she is such a down-to-earth person. So when you read her book, you're like, oh, it's like talking to her. She's just chill. A book with a green cover. Oh my, I went through so many green covers before I decided on one. I thought I would go with a cute older story called Trina. This was written in 1967. It's about a young girl who's living in a boxcar with her immigrant family from Mexico. They're living in Wyoming, and it's during the Industrial Revolution, the turn of the 20th century. She's been learning English, but she thinks often in Spanish, so that comes up a lot in this book. This is about her family and the struggles they have, but it's also about how she's accepted in her community. And I think this is a good book to read to children, especially considering some of the things going on today. A book with a gold cover or some gold accents. I know I've talked about The Wolf Wilder before. It's been a little bit though. This is another middle grade book, but it was incredible. And I think all adults would learn and love this. This is about the time of the Romanovs being in charge. In Russia, there were these wolf wilders where they would train wolves. Wolves were very much a part of high society where they had pet wolves. So there were people that would train the wolves. And this is about a young girl whose mother goes missing. She goes on a journey. She has wolves. And then there's the whole political situation at that time. You crave more of this book as you read it. A book that sparkles. I had a hard time choosing one of these books because I didn't know if I want to do like a glow from a light. I thought about how this actually goes with several other prompts. So I could have used this for like 2 other prompts. I decided to use it for this one because it was the most sparkly that I could see. This was very unique. It was a sci-fi romance YA. The main character, she grew up around a father that's like obsessed with the unknown, with aliens existing. But he goes missing for a few months. And there's this meteor shower that comes at the same time. But then all of a sudden, this strange looking guy that's like kind of like all shadow, completely dark. And he doesn't really speak our language, but she learns to try to decipher and find a way to communicate with him. And he starts to learn because of her father and because of the situation. There's the mayor in town who does not like her family. And this mayor wants to protect his town big time. While I love the story, there were some things that didn't make sense, but the story was really nice. Otherwise, I found it to be unique. Like I said, it's different. I'm not one who believes in aliens, but it was fascinating. And I liked a little bit of a sci-fi fantasy romance YA. You know, it just hit where I needed it at the time when I read it. A book with snow or a snowman on the cover. A Holiday by Gaslight. I thought this book should have been longer because I was enjoying it. This is about a woman. She had been betrothed to someone. They didn't click. They were just courting for a couple months. Basically, she talks way too much. And the other guy, he just doesn't really talk. She wants to know what he's thinking. He just doesn't speak. But when they break it off, they start learning about each other. And this is set during the time when gaslight that was put into homes with pipes and intricacies of trying to redo systems so you could have gaslight put throughout the house. And I thought that was pretty cool to learn about because you don't really think about that. And her father really loves technology. Her family's having a party and his family is invited. Anyway, it's very much about trying to get to know each other, establishing their relationship in some form while dealing with her father. A book with a pine tree on the cover. Now, I had so many books that had pine trees somewhere and I wanted to find the right book, but the problem is, I don't know if this counts for looking like pine trees. I grew up in an area filled with woods, and pine trees, sometimes you would have the bottom parts of the pine tree looking like stuff in this book. But this was a really cool book that I read a few years back, The 57 Lives of Alex Wayfair. I could have used a book that I haven't read yet that I'm going to be reading very soon, which won the Christie Award this year, which is Born of Gilded Mountains. So that was my other option, but because I haven't read it yet, I don't want to say, yeah, this book, but I'll probably like it. Anyway, back to this book. 57 Lives of Alex Wayfair is about this young girl. She's not doing very well in school and she's learning about Jamestown, but for some reason, she starts to have these memories of being in Jamestown, and it was very weird. And then she realized she's had lives in all sorts of different times and places. So she's doing like time travel. She had relationships with people in these times, starting to remember these things. And I can't really talk much about it because it could bring around spoilers, but it was really fascinating. A book with a star on the cover. A couple of these had stars that I've already shared, so I could have used some of these, but I decided on Geekerella. I don't know why I'm doing so many like YA books because I don't read a lot of YA these days, so it's interesting. But Geekerella is a retelling of the Cinderella story, and it has to do with conventions. And there's like this main guy that's an actor, and this actor, he's just like loved by everyone. I had to redo part of Geekerella because I totally messed up on part of this story. I had to remember it, and now I remembered it. I was getting a little confused with the second book, so I mixed both of them together. This book, we have the main girl who loves this one show so much. She geeks out about that. She's obsessed. There is an original movie that she loves, and now they're doing like a TV version or like a show, or they're doing another movie. They're doing some sort of remake. The main guy is going to be cast in it, and she doesn't know what she thinks about that, but at the same time, she kind of is intrigued by it. She wins a contest because she is such a big fan, and she goes to this convention, and the two of them end up meeting. And you know this story of Cinderella, that's kind of what this is. The depth of their relationship, I really like their interactions. It's really cute. He's like a huge geek himself, even though he's an actor. It was very fun, and I did read the whole series, but this one was the best out of it. Some of them I didn't really care for as much as this one. And bonus, a Christmas book. Well, I did share a Christmas book, but yeah, let's do another. The Christmas Stories of Louisa May Alcott. And of course, I've mentioned how I love her writing. This was a very good book. These are a collection of stories that she wrote for Christmastime. What I love about this book is that she wanted people so badly to understand what life is like for people that don't have much, because she grew up in a family that didn't have much. She could reach out to the rich people that had that ability to maybe help people that were in need. She wanted to be able to bless families and individuals. So this is very heartwarming and it's inspiring. Some of them are perspectives of children, and some of the stories are fantasy. I think these books make me feel very thankful for what I do have. So I really recommend this. Okay, thanks guys. And I will tag a couple people. Maybe you could do this before the end of the year, before Christmas. And if not, hey, you could still do it. It's a bunch of colors and it's really fun. So thank you again, book buds. Thanks again for tagging me, and have a wonderful Christmas.